What is up, boys? Moist Berate here, and Vito came out recently. Now, with the release of every new Valorant agent, I think that the meta shifts significantly, with buffs and nerfs and balance changes, and with that, I believe it is helpful and useful to put the agents on a tier list as they are currently. Now, here's how this tier list is going to work. This is a solo queue tier list. This is how good the agent is, I believe, if you are playing solo. I'll also extend this to duos and trios as well. You are not in a coordinated team environment. You're not in VCT. You're not in Premier. There is no coordination beforehand, and you have to make plays in and of yourself without worrying about other teammates. So I'm not going to be worrying about utility combos or anything like that. The only utility combos I'll maybe worry about is stuff that's very easy to pull off, and it's like a one sentence for your teammate. That being said, let's get into the list. Jett for solo queue, I'm going to put B tier. In the current meta for solo queue, I do not believe that Jett in and of herself can have that much value. The reason why Jett has good value in VCT is because she has good utility combos. If you have an initiator flashing you in and you have a bunch of recon being spoon-fed to the Jett player can just turn off their brain and dash onto site and kill everything. That is not the case for solo queue. I don't think that Jett has a lot in and of herself to make space. The only thing that she has is on offense. She can dash into her own smoke and enter the site. I don't think that's very good for solo queue. Raze is also going to be going in B tier, but I'm actually going to put Raze near the top of B tier. Once I add more agents, Jett's going to be moved down, and Raze is probably going to stay near the top. Raze just simply has more tools. Raze has more tools than Jett for solo queue. I think that Raze is just an all-round better agent. She can set herself up for plays more. She can keep herself safe while also having very strong movement abilities, but I wouldn't put her really above any other agent that I'm going to put here. Neon. I think Neon's A tier. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying you have to master Neon. I'm not saying you're a beginner Neon player. I'm saying that you are a high-caliber Neon player. Think Temet, think Grumpy, think CJ. People who really have mastered the character. I think that Neon can set herself up for a lot of plays that not a lot of other characters can do. Her kit is very strong for solo queue, and I think that she can really solo carry if given the opportunity. Waylay, D tier. Waylay is awful. They decided to give the best get out of jail free card in the game to the worst character in the game. Waylay's terrible. Every time I see a Waylay in a ranked game, on the enemy team, I think it's a free win, and on my team, I think it's a free loss. Waylay's not good. I've seen Waylay get some play in VCT, but again, that is because her teammates are setting her up for plays. I do not believe that Waylay is good for solo queue. Yoru, S tier. At this point, Yoru will be the top of S tier. Yoru is the epitome of a phenomenal character for solo queue. He can do pretty much everything. He can entry. He can lurk. He has flashes for himself, so he can give himself direct advantages in gunfights. His ultimate has some of the best info gathering in the game on top of the best set play in the game. Yoru can do a lot of tech, like the Yoru updraft or the Flying Dutchman, coined by Ziptie. I think that Yoru is number 2 in the game. There's only one character that's above Yoru in my opinion, and I will get to him later, but I think that Yoru is the best character in the game so far. Just phenomenal. However, Yoru is very difficult. Something to realize about Yoru is that you already have to be cracked at the game at a baseline to even start learning Yoru, on top of learning everything that Yoru has to offer. So while he is, in my opinion, the most difficult character to play bar none, I also think that he is one of the strongest. He scales directly with your skill. If you're bad, Yoru's bad. If you're good, Yoru's good. Reyna, D tier. Awful. Terrible for solo queue. Reyna is extremely selfish. Reyna cannot really do anything uniquely. But Berate. Smurfs play Reyna. And they go and they shoot me. You can shoot back, you know. Reyna doesn't really have anything to give herself a direct advantage in a gunfight. She has no set play. She has no outplays. She is just raw mechanics. Reyna is as close as you are going to get to playing Counter-Strike in a Valorant game. Surprised why One Pickle doesn't play Reyna, but I rest my case. Reyna is terrible for solo queue. Play literally anyone else, and I will love you. But Berate, she has one of the highest win rates. Win rate doesn't matter. I'm talking about the kit that the character has. And how good it complements them for solo queue. In my opinion, I think a good solo queue character can, in and of themselves, give themselves either a strategic or a mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage being a flash, aka you flash them and you have a mechanical advantage because you just shoot them. Strategical advantage would be very Yoru, the teleports, the repositions, the fake clones, the real clones. That's strategical advantages. Reyna has none of those. Reyna is awful. Reyna, very, very bottom tier. Bottom tier, awful, terrible, horrible. Phoenix. Phoenix, I'm going to be putting in A tier along with Neon. I would put Phoenix in S tier, but the characters that I will put in S tier for solo queue, you'll understand why. I think that Phoenix is extremely, extremely good for solo queue. I think that he is one of the best possible picks if you are just learning the game. Now, in my opinion, if you are new to the game, play Reyna because you need to have your mechanics up to snuff and you don't need to worry about strategical advantage or mechanical advantage or whatever. However, if you do know the game a little bit, you have your fundamentals down, but you want to play a simple character that can really, really give you all the tools that you possibly need, I think that Phoenix is an extremely good pick. Phoenix has a lot of tech that you can learn. His skill ceiling is very high, as you can see with people like XTR. However, his barrier of entry is very low. So Phoenix is quite easy to learn, but quite hard to master. So Phoenix will take you as far as you want to go. ISO is going in B tier, sort of for the same reasons that I think Jet and Razor here. Yeah, he can entry sight with a shield. That's kind of about it. He doesn't really have a lot going for him right now. So he'll just stick at the bottom of B tier. Astra. For solo queue, I think Astra is one of the worst characters in the game. However, I wouldn't put him in the same tier as Waylay and Reyna, so I'm going to keep Astra C tier. Astra is terrible for solo queue. Astra, you need to have a coordinated team. In my professional opinion, I believe that Astra was a character created for VCT and created for coordinated team environments. I don't think Astra is good for solo queue. I have seen only one person ever successfully solo queue anywhere past Diamond with Astra, and that is Flo Shizzle. Flo Shizzle is a very good Astra player, and by some miracle of the Lord above, he can make it work. But you are not Flo Shizzle. You are not going to make Astra work. Drop the character. Play anyone else. Brimstone, S tier. Brimstone is incredible for solo queue. I believe that Brimstone's versatility is through the roof, specifically with his Molotov. You can get so much use out of his Molotov on both attack and on defense. That ability alone would put him into S tier. On top of the fact that he can give himself a direct advantage in a gunfight with his combat stim, he has the smokes, which are always very good. Controllers are absolutely necessary for solo queue, and if you know how to play smokes, you are an absolute asset to solo queue. And his ultimate is pretty much just a free round if you use it correctly. You have to respect Brimstone's utility. You can't just diss Brimstone's utility and come out of the other end living. Very strong, very good, S tier. Omen, best character in the game. Top one, bar none. In fact, I am adding an extra tier for Omen. Omen, in my opinion, is the best character in the game. Bar none, and it's not even close. Omen has everything. Omen can entry, Omen can flash, Omen can reposition, Omen can gather information with his ultimate, Omen can lurk, Omen can smoke. He can do everything. He has a blind even. Best character in the game, bar none, not even close. Top one spot immediately goes to Omen. Cannot emphasize this more. Clove. I'm putting Clove in B tier for solo queue. I think Clove is very self-sufficient, but I think Clove has the same problem as Reyna. The only reason why Clove is in B tier instead of in D tier is because she can smoke. Clove can smoke. That is the only thing that's keeping her away from being D tier. Her decay is also pretty good. Her self-heal is pretty good, but I would say that it's not on par with Reyna, and the self-revive is also very good. So Clove is going to stay at the top of B tier, but I can't comfortably put her above any of these other characters in the list. Clove, B tier, firmly. Viper, worst character in the game. Viper's terrible. In fact, I'm adding a row below D tier for Viper. Viper's terrible. Viper has nothing. I would say that you have a better shot playing Reyna in solo queue than playing Viper. If this was a VCT tier list, then naturally Viper would be S tier. This is not a VCT tier list. This is a tier list for the solo queue player. And I cannot in any good faith put Viper anything better than the worst character in the game for solo queue. She has nothing. The only strength that she has is lurking. She can lurk on Icebox and still do her job. That's it. You can't pick up her orb. You can't pick up her wall. All of your utility is one and done. She has no flexibility. She has no versatility. And she has no viability. Harbor. Harbor's also just gonna go in C tier with Astra. Harbor's not good. Harbor is a relatively bad character. I think that he has quite a bit going for him. I think that he has a couple plays that he can do here and there. If you look at people like Lulu and Japanese Curry, who are very good Harbor players, you'll notice that a lot of their plays aren't because they're playing Harbor. They're just playing Harbor because he's a fun character and they like him, but they themselves are good at the game. Harbor's not really doing them very many favors. Doesn't have a lot of tech. I hope he gets a buff soon. But yeah, Harbor firmly C tier. Fade, B tier. I think Fade is a very good entry to B tier. She has pretty solid information with her eye and her dogs. Where she lacks, though, is giving herself direct advantages in gunfights and also making it so that she can outplay her opponents. As soon as Fade throws any piece of her utility, you immediately know where she's at because her eye is very loud and you can see the direction it came from, and her dogs are also very loud, and again you can see the directions that they came from. In gathering information, Fade also reveals her own position, which I don't think is very good. So B tier. Skye. I think Skye is an A tier. I think Skye is a very, very good character. She can gather information. Her flash is very good. Her dog, as I said, gathers very good information. Her ultimate is pretty much a free retake on defense if you use it correctly, and on offense it's pretty much a free sight hit because you get to see where people are, and you also, if the cabbages bite them, they're slowed, they're deafened, and it's pretty much just a free kill. You can also use it for very early round information. It's very good. The heal is always nice, I guess. I don't think that heals are super important in a game with as low of a time to kill as Valorant. If you're getting shot, you're pretty much going to die 90% of the time, unless you're just taking chip damage, but obviously a heal can't hurt. I think Skye's just a good all-around character. Sova. Average Jonas mains are going to crucify me for this. I don't think Sova's very good for solo queue. He's going to stay near the top of C tier, because I don't think he's worse than Astra or worse than Harbor. However, I don't think that Sova's very good right now. He's an information demon. That's what he is. He essentially gives you wall hacks for half the round. That's about it. He lacks in a lot of other areas, and if you are solo queuing and you don't have other agents to fill the gaps that Sova isn't doing, I hate to break it to you, man. Sova's not the best. All the Jonas stands are going to crucify me for this one, but I stand by what I say. Gecko, S tier. Easiest S tier of my life. Gecko is broken in the right hands. Gecko is, again, a very versatile character that can do pretty much anything. If you want information, wingman. If you want to concuss, wingman. If you want to flash and information, use your E ability, use your dizzy. If you want to hold space and clear out corners for yourself, you have your mosh, you have your C ability, you have your molly. If you want a free sight hit or a free retake, you ult, and you can use them twice. And not only that, these abilities would be very good in and of themselves, but he can pick them up and use them as many times as he wants in the round. Someone did the math, and if you play optimally, you can use one of these abilities 10 times in a single round. 10 times in a single round if you throw them optimally. If you throw a piece of utility, pick it up, grab it again, throw it, go, pick it up 10 times in a single round each. That means 10 dizzies and 10 wingmans. That's incredible. You pretty much have a piece of utility in your back pocket whenever you need it. Whenever you need it. On top of the fact that the abilities are very strong, this character is goated. This character is great. KO, I'm also putting in A tier. KO's in A tier for the same reason that Skye is, but he's slightly below Skye just because Skye has better information gathering than him, but he's good. Not really much more else to say. Taeho, B tier. I don't think Taeho's very good. Nowadays, after the nerfs, I think Taeho still has a place in the Valorant meta. I still think for VCT is absolutely insane. His post plant is very good. His sight hits are also very good. But however, I don't think that Taeho really has very much going for him outside of that. So firmly B tier, and I'm not very apologetic about it. Let's go Breach. Breach is also going to go in C tier. But top is C tier. Actually, low B tier. Breach is going low B tier. The reason why Breach is going low B tier is because he has very good offensive utility. Breach and Sova are the two sides of the same coin. Sova is all information, Breach is all CC. I think if you pair a Breach with a Sova, I think it's great. I think it's really good. That's why on Ascent, oftentimes you'll see a Sova and a Breach, because Breach has this, because Sova gathers the information and Breach CCs, aka crowd controls, or uses stuns and flashes off of that utility. I think the combo is very good, but Breach in and of himself, he's kind of lacking, just like Sova is. He's lacking in one department, and that is information. He can't really do it. He also can't really lurk. He does have to kind of stay glued to his team by the hip, because if you lurk with Breach, what are you doing? Cypher, A tier. Cypher's incredible. Cypher is an incredibly oppressive character, and you can pretty much solo carry the game on defense if you have a good Cypher setup. On the flip side, Vice, D tier. Vice is terrible. Vice is one of the worst characters in the game for solo queue. For every reason why Cypher is good is every reason why Vice is bad. Vice wants to be Cypher so bad that she decided to do everything Cypher does but worse. It's just awful. Killjoy has sort of the same problem. I'm putting Killjoy B tier just because I don't think Killjoy is better than Cypher. The number one Killjoy on one team versus the number one Cypher on another team, the Cypher wins 8 out of 10 times. I'm sorry. His utility is just simply better. The trips are a guaranteed kill if you get trapped by them. And what does Cage's mollies do? They tickle your feet for a little bit, so your Sage can heal you. Deadlock. Again, I'm going to put Deadlock in sort of the same tier as Killjoy. I think Deadlock is slightly better than Taeho because Deadlock's setups are more scary, and there is playmaking that you can do with Deadlock. Specifically, look at people like Boney. I believe that Boney is a very good Deadlock player, and I think that Boney really embodies what it means to play Deadlock in solo queue, and he really showed off the versatility of this character. So if you want to learn Deadlock, highly recommend watching his videos. I glaze him every single time I make a tier list, but genuinely, he's one of the best Deadlock players out there, and I highly recommend watching his videos. Chamber, again, the other Sentinel. I'm putting Chamber A tier. I'm kind of putting a middle of A tier, because Chamber's good if you're good, Chamber's bad if you're bad. Chamber isn't like every other Sentinel where his utility is doing the talking for him. Chamber is his own Sentinel setup, and he's designed to be that way. Where Cypher would trip A main, Cypher's going to hold A main with a Headhunter and teleport out. The reason why tripwires are good is because they're an active deterrent without risk. There's no risk in putting a tripwire somewhere, because if the tripwire dies, you don't die. Same reason with Chamber. Chamber is an active deterrent because he removes the risk from himself when making plays. If he wants to hold a part of the map, he sets up his teleport, he posts up with an operator, and the second he's in any sort of danger, he's out of there, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is why Chamber was broken back old VCT and old ranked games, back around episode 3, episode 4, episode 5. I forgot when Chamber came out. I'm an old head Valorant player, but my memory's not perfect, and I'm not going to look it up because that is a colossal waste of my time. However, back when Chamber was meta, the reason why he was so strong was because he could take aggressive positions without the risk. Now, after Chamber's nerfs, I think he's also very good because he can still take aggressive positions while mitigating the risk for himself. I think that's very good. Sage, terrible for solo queue. Awful, in fact. Horrible. Worse than Reyna. Okay, not worse than Reyna. Not worse than Waylay, let's be honest here. What does Sage have? A wall? Sage isn't a Sentinel. Sage is an over-glorified initiator with something that can slow you down. Whoop-dee-doo, I guess. Like, Sage is not good. But Parade Jing plays Sage on Icebox for VCT, for Paper X, because Jing's the good. I don't care. That's VCT. This isn't ranked. Go, again, the number one Sage player on a team versus the number one Cypher player on another team. The Cypher wins 10 out of 10 times. Now here's the one you all probably clicked on the video for. The new character, Vito. I'm putting Vito A tier. He's not better than Cypher. Not by a long shot. Vito loses to a Cypher 90% of the time. However, I think Vito has shaken up the meta in a good way. The reason why a lot of these characters are good is because they have utility to set themselves up for plays. They have their utility to give themselves an advantage in a gunfight to make up for lapses in their mechanics. Vito says nah. Vito turns around and says, you think you have an advantage in a fight due to your fancy flashbang there? I say no, fight me like a man, put up your dukes, have at thee. Very meta shaking, and if you're up against a Vito, you need to make sure that your mechanics are sharp, because chances are you're not going to be using your utility very much. Anyways, with all that being said, this has been Berate, and remember to brush your teeth today. Buy my coaching. If you like the information that I give and the way that I present it, there's a Medify link at the top of the description. I keep my prices as low and as fair as I possibly can so that you can get the best quality coaching and improve your Valorant gameplay today without breaking the bank. Joel's TV. Woohoojin. Anyways, with all that being said, this has been Berate, and yeah, bye-bye.